Welcome everybody to I screwed it up already.
Redo.
And check. Click. Game face on. There it is. There's the opening. Perfect. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Behind the Biker. This series is to learn about the writing community, people in the writing community, their creative process, and their channels. Without further introduction, it is my pleasure to introduce the geared one herself, the geared Raven.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. So how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Bry?
Good, excellent. So
Good.
For those of you that don't know the geared Raven, please tell us about you.
Okay, so I'm Mary, aka the Geared Raven. I live in the sunny state of Florida. I ride a 2015 Honda Shadow Phantom, for those of you that don't know. Let's see, what else? I am part of the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast crew. I have been part of them for a year now. Love them. And of course, if you don't know, I'm part of the moto community online, Instagram and YouTube. Absolutely love my MVC.
And you're at the Geared Raven on both, correct? On Instagram? And
the Geared Raven 72, yes.
Excellent. So I guess, and some of these actually don't even know the answer to as much as I've talked to you. What got you on 2 wheels?
What got me on 2 wheels? Okay, good question. So, of course, when I was younger, and I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but my cousin, they had a big farm and he had a couple of Honda trail bikes.
Honda for the win.
I know, Honda for the win. So that was actually my first experience riding. And for the longest time, I guess I really didn't even think about that experience. But I knew when I got up into my 20s and 30s even, I was like, man, I'd really like to be on a motorcycle. When I was about 15 or 16, this cute boy from where I'm from took me on a motorcycle ride on the back of his motorcycle. And I thought that was like the most awesome thing ever. But I always kind of, I guess, had it in the back of my mind somewhere that I would like to ride a motorcycle. And so one day I put in that I wanted a motorcycle. And my brother-in-law at the time was selling his. And so I ended up buying his, which was a Honda Shadow, and rode that for not even a year. I got it in February and I rode it until October until I bought my current bike that I still have today. So I've been riding for almost 5 years now, I guess. And I've also had an Indian Scout at one point. So yeah, and another Honda as well. I think it was a Spirit. So,
but you weren't were you a big fan of the Scout, or I mean, I know that you're really strong with Honda.
Yes, I'm huge with very strong with Honda. I love Honda motorcycles. I like the Scout as far as the power, because when you twisted the throttle on that thing, it took off. It was the same weight as my Phantom that I'm riding now. But, of course, with the increased power, it took off out from under you just about, which was fine. You know, you just had to be sure you were holding on when you twisted the throttle. The one thing I didn't like about it had forward controls. I was reaching for the handlebars and it was hot. My main complaint with that bike was that it was very hot. The engine just radiated heat off of it, almost to the point where it would almost burn you on your leg, even through your jeans. So, yeah. That's
definitely not something you want. Especially
not in Florida.
Not in Florida. That's what I was going to say, for sure.
No.
So when you started your channel, did you start it with the inspiration of other people, or did you just start it because you wanted to document that?
Very good question. Okay, so I joined the moto community in the fall of 2017. And at that time, I had been recording these little short videos. I had a camera that I still have today. It's like a lanyard camera that I wore around my neck. And I would drive with one hand and I would video with that other camera. And I would just put these short little clips on Instagram set to music or whatever. And of course, they were like a minute long because at that time, Instagram only had like the minute format. And just met a lot of people in the moto community. Of course, 2 Kiwi riders was one of the first people that I met. I'm still friends with them today. But them, Dirty D's, other people, they just encouraged me and said, hey, these are awesome videos. You need to start a YouTube channel. And at first I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure about how to start a YouTube channel or how to start motovlogging, but I got into watching motovlog videos on YouTube and was super, super interested in that. That really caught my attention. And so I decided, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's awesome. And your channel, and I know in the support in the community, you have a very positive vibe, which is not something, we talk about that later, but YouTube's definitely taken a bit of a negative twist lately, I've seen.
Yeah.
But that's great because I know that now you were part of the Mama Mafia at one point.
I was, yes.
Okay. Yeah, those guys are funny. Those guys are really
great ladies.
Absolutely. So do you think your channel has an overall theme for people that haven't seen it, or is?
Well, obviously I have kind of a mixed bag of stuff on there. I have a lot of motorcycle videos, exploring Florida basically from my motorcycle, because I am a Florida girl and that's what I love to do, whether it's on my motorcycle, whether I go hiking, kayaking, whatever. And so when I do other things besides motorcycle riding, if it's Florida based and, I take the time to record videos, then I'll put those up as well. I would say the majority of it is motorcycle vlogs, but there is a little bit of mix of the whole Florida aspect in there. And then, of course, there's my new series that's out right now called Journey.
Yes, that's what I was going to. Perfect segue. So you started this, which I think for those of you that don't know the series, you can explain it. But I think it not only is it brave, but I think there's probably a part of it that's a bit therapeutic to share that.
Well,
that's a big step.
It is a big step. So the series started back in March. Basically, the series is about me getting divorced after being in a marriage for 30 years. And I just decided at that time, because I am a vlogger and I've always journaled stuff, even from a young age. I've always written stuff down, kept journals, stuff like that, scrapbooking, memories. I'm all about memories. And so when this happened, I was like, I'm going to record this. I'm going to record this process of getting divorced and having to be out on my own and what all that's going to entail, buying a piece of land, buying a house or whatever, I'm going to record every bit of this. And, maybe I'll do videos, make videos out of it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll release them. Maybe I won't. But to me, I guess it was all about just kind of capturing that whole process. Mm-hmm. And I thought if nothing else, it's going to be something that I can look back on when it's all over with and see how far I've come from there to now. And so with that being said, there's kind of a little bit of confusion about that because, yes, we did discuss divorce in March 1st. And then it wasn't until, I think, end of July when the divorce was actually final. But people are confused because the first few videos, I'm like, we're out at the property. We're doing this. Mm-hmm. We're doing that. And it's my ex-husband that's helping me through this whole process because even though we got divorced, it was amicable. We still work together 5 days a week. So we still get along. We have a daughter together. We were adults about the situation and decided, hey, it's time to call this and it's time to move on with our lives. But he's been good, at helping me through this whole process and getting the land, getting the house and getting everything cleared and taken care of. And now I'm on my own.
That's awesome. I mean, I know for me, from being on, what is it going on 11 years on the other side of that, it is amazing. And I think I give you a lot of credit because documenting that's got to be bittersweet in some ways too, because it's very real. There's no hiding behind that.
Oh yeah. And I've always just been myself on videos, whether it's, the goofy side of me or the serious side of me or whatever, or showing, emotion or hurt or whatever. I am pretty much what you see on camera. I don't fake stuff. I don't try and portray something that I'm not. I would consider myself a pretty positive person. I have my moments. I'm not perfect. I have my moments where I get pissed off at stuff. I have my moments where I get sad and emotional about stuff too. But for the most part, I look at situations and say, you know what, this too shall pass. You'll get past this. You just have to keep pushing forward. And that's something that my mom instilled in me in an early age because she had it rough. And I kind of had a rough childhood growing up, going from stepdad to stepdad and different situations. But my mom showed me strength through the years and pretty much said, kid, you can do anything. You just have to do it. So I just do. That's what I do. I press through each situation. So
that's awesome. And I mean, there's probably not many people that can say that they've had that experience to have that support, from their spouse.
Yeah.
Now, his mom have a great relationship, but it took time. It took a long time to get there, but it's great when your kids see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than these people that have relationships and they're fighting over the ottoman, and it just becomes this crazy event.
No, there was no sense in fighting over anything. I pretty much said, this is all I want is a piece of property and a house. And I want a roof over my head. So
That's great.
And our daughter's doing great through it all. I mean, she's 19 and she said it was time. So she's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear that there's a positive to it. There's so many people that I know that went through that experience at the same time I did and still aren't in a better place. So that's really positive. Yeah.
And that's kind of a different aspect of releasing the videos that I didn't expect. I've had quite a few people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm going through a divorce right now. And, it seems like you're doing good. And there's different situations, some people they're just going through hell. And then there's other people that are, they're like, I'm making it, so.
That's great.
I never expected it to kind of bring that out from other people, but
that's a positive, right? You're reinforcing that positivity to the community.
It's a positive, and I try and encourage people through it, like, hey, just hang in there. It'll be over, you'll get through. So.
Yeah, I know for me that experience felt like it went on for years. And then now I look back and it's 11 years later and you're like, wow, so much has changed. But in that moment, it seemed like it was just the worst thing you've ever been through.
Right.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, I understand.
So as you do this now, is this going to be, are you going to take vlogging off the motorcycle more and more make this about your life? Because I will say the kayaking stuff's amazing.
Right.
Like, I really think that's unique rather than it's just all bikes.
Yeah. So I guess the way to answer that would be, do I intend to quit motovlogging? No, not really, but you have to understand. So this is November and this series started back in March. Mm-hmm. And literally for 8 months, I worked Monday through Friday here at the office. And then every single weekend from mid-April until somewhere in September, October, every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday, most weekends, I was out there working on property, clearing property. So I have literally had no time to ride until now. But with that being said, my motorcycle is still being stored at his house because I don't have a carport or garage at my house yet to put it in. So for me to motorcycle ride right now, I have to ride into town 15 minutes and, get my motorcycle out, which, I mean, it's not a big deal. If I want to ride, I can ride. But I'm still trying to get kind of settled in where I'm at. But having concrete poured soon and a carport put up soon and shed and everything. So I'll have my motorcycle at my house so I can ride more often. But I have at the moment, I think episode 6 is up right now. Mm-hmm. I need to release episode 7. And then I have 15. I'm up to episode 15 of having videos edited.
Wow.
But that's only into, I think, let me look, I have my notes right here. That's only through the end of May.
Wow.
And I'm still going. So the series is going to have quite a few videos to it.
That's awesome.
And for those that want to watch, they can watch. And for those that aren't into it, I understand. I get it.
No, but I think that there's something positive. That's why I wanted to do the mental health thing. I think that there's something that if you have I was going to say balls, but that's not the right term, the guts to do it, right? There's something very therapeutic about talking about things and then finding out that people are experiencing that with you.
Yeah.
Because you realize that you aren't alone. And I think that's
relatable.
Great. It's a very relatable content. Unfortunately, yes. Divorce is definitely a very relatable content. So are we going to see more kayaking? Because I love the outdoor stuff that you do.
That's a good question too. I did actually take some video on one of my kayaking trips a couple of weeks ago. I have not sat down and edited that yet because I've still been working on journey videos. I'm far enough ahead right now. I can probably stop on my journey videos and edit that and throw it in there. I don't know. I really have to put some thought into doing some more kayaking videos. I have my kayak with me, but I have a tiny little car and I don't really have a way to haul it yet. Sure. So I can go and do my own thing, but I'm looking into getting a little trailer for behind my little SUV so I can take it and go when I want to go and not be having to, not have to rely on somebody else, in other words, to get my kayak.
No, I understand
wherever
that.
I want to go.
Now, do you take all your pictures with your phone? Do you have a bigger camera? Because your outdoor pictures are fantastic.
Okay. I take the majority of my pictures with my phone. I have an iPhone 11 Pro.
Okay.
But the last kayaking trips that I've gone on, well, the last one that I went to the Silver River, all of those were taken with my big camera. I have a Canon Rebel.
Nice.
So, but yeah, a lot of them are with my phone.
That's awesome. Well, it goes to show you too, I think with the creative process, you don't necessarily need a lot of gear. Sometimes I think that takes away from.
Yeah.
We found that out on our trip. The GoPro was more useful because it was in your pocket.
Right.
It's like the phone. You can go from here to there and it's not a big deal. It doesn't take away from the experience.
I will have to say I need to use my GoPro more because I can do underwater stuff with that. And I had my my periscope cam that I wear around my neck. I had that with me on my last trip and did some cool underwater video with that I still need to post. But yeah.
So how do you deal with the gators? I'm not going to lie. That freaks me out every time you post pictures. And I know
it freaks my 5 Dirty Bikers guys out too. They're like, oh, hell no.
No.
So I think it's pretty much like anywhere that you live, you get used to your environment and what's around you. People that deal with tornadoes all the time, they're like, man, whatever, it's a tornado. People that live in Florida deal with hurricanes and alligators. And people always ask, is there an alligator there? Like if I'm taking pictures where there's water or whatever. And my saying is, if there's water in Florida, there's an alligator in it.
Fair enough.
It's a given. But you just have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to keep your distance and just know you don't approach big gators. You just don't do it. You don't get in the water where, it's gator infested. You can go swimming in springs and stuff. Yes. I don't like to swim in the rivers because I know there's alligators there, but I have swam in places where I know there's alligators, but they just, for the most part, they don't bother you if you don't bother them, but just stay away from the big ones.
Yeah. I'm just not that brave. There's just no.
I love them though. I think they're awesome. I think they're really cool. They're like dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean, they are fascinating. They're just not. And to your point, I guess it's like anything. If you get used to it, it's no longer you just get used to it after a while, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's snakes and alligators and spiders and all kinds of crazy things in Florida. that's what Ryan says. I'm out.
No, no way. So getting back to riding, what type of riding do you like to do? Like on a good day, like what is the kind of riding that you enjoy the most?
On a good day, okay. So I like destination riding a lot. I like to know where I'm going. I like to go places where I know I can explore or see something beautiful. I love to go anywhere there's water. If it's a lake, the ocean, the river, whatever. I just love being around water. So I like to go where I know I can take good pictures.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. So I try to go places. There's a lot of state parks, obviously, in Florida, and there's a lot of springs in this area where I'm at. So a lot of times I'll look at a map and go, oh, I think I'd like to go there today. I do research a lot of times before I go somewhere.
Now, have you ever been to the Everglades?
I have not.
No,
which is
that's
crazy.
on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket list too. I would love to go there and do an airboat tour.
That would be fun. That would
lots
really
of
be
alligators.
Fun. Yeah, as long as I'm with the locals and they have a gun, I'll be all right.
Oh yeah, no big.
Oh, that's funny. So, have you taken any big trips, or do you like to ride local? Because everybody has a different, kind of theme, and I think that's the neat part with bikes is, everybody has their own sort of niche.
Right. Well, at the beginning of this year, my whole thing was to get out more and explore and to take longer rides, but obviously that didn't happen this year. So I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to next year because I want to do some more riding, some more exploring, and I would like to do some dirt bike riding, like ADV riding.
Ooh,
I know.
Go on now, like adventure bike, or are you going to be like Wet Banana and go with the little Honda?
Exactly.
Well, not a little Honda, but
yeah, something like that. Because there's plenty of places here in Florida, dirt roads, and of course, wildlife management areas and stuff like that you can ride in. So. Yeah,
that's really big. Like in the Pine Barrens, they do a lot of jeeping and stuff. I always thought it'd be fun. I never did it, but that's really cool.
So we'll see if that's on the agenda for next year.
So here's a question. I think that you're going to run with this one, but as a female rider, motorcycle being male dominated, but the sport is definitely changing more to women riders. They're trying to get involved because, quite frankly, if they don't, it's doomed as a whole. What do you think could attract more women riders? Oh, and I know that we have Mad and Dad in common. And you look at somebody like Mad as being the future. So what do you say to that little girl? What do you say to the woman that comes up to you like, wow, you ride a bike? Like, what do I say to her?
Be? Okay. Yeah. I say it's amazing. And let me tell you how to do it.
There you go.
Your first step is to go to the course. I always push the course. Go to that MSF course and learn motorcycle safety. It's not hard. It's not as hard as you think it is. The one that I went to in Gainesville, all of the instructors are either active or retired police officers at the one that I went to. And you would think they would be so anal about details and stuff, but they were all so laid back and so patient. And it was just an awesome course to me. Of course, you've got your classroom time that you have to take, but then the actual getting out there on the track and learning step by step. And it's anything from what I call duck walking it, hanging onto the handlebars and walking with your feet and getting the feel of the bike underneath you, to going real slow across the pavement and learning how to stop. And so I would say take the MSF course first, because some people think they can't do it. And when they take it, they're like, wow, this is amazing. And then you've got the flip side of that where they're like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. And then they go and take it and they're like, this isn't for me. I saw that in the class that I was in. There was a lady there, and very early into the outside course part of it, she was like, I don't think so. I'm not liking this. So I say go for it. Go try it. Go take it and see if that's what you want to do. And then take off. Don't let anything stop you.
There you go. No.
Yeah. I think they should have programs like in schools. You know how like in elementary schools and high schools and stuff, they bring in like job workforce people. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they'll bring in like the fire department to the younger kids, and they'll show the younger kids like the fire trucks or the ambulances. I think they should bring motorcycles into the school and show the kids the motorcycles and spark their interest. That would be
cool. Yeah, my boys have like no interest in it. And it's funny. It's almost like we have a generation of riders that could be, but they're not.
Yeah. And see, I tried to get my daughter interested in it, and she thought she was interested in it until she tried it. And she's like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, that's how Katie is. Katie's got the scooter and she rides it in the parking lot, and then that's enough. And I can respect that. It's definitely to your point. I've seen a couple of people get into it and thinking they were into it, and then they wind up getting hurt, or, it's just, they're pushing themselves into something they're really not into. Right.
You have to be comfortable doing it.
Yeah. Do you think that there's things that the industry could be doing to attract more riders? I mean, you're a lot like I did. I didn't ride a bike until I was almost 41. So I started really late in life. But do you think that there's something that they could do to attract more women riders to make it?
Obviously,
is that influencers? Is it promoting a different bike that's more appealing to women? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I would say like having like ladies' nights at the dealership would be good. But with that being said, if your mindset is not geared towards riding motorcycles, how are you going to know there's a ladies' night at the motorcycle dealership? You know what I'm saying? So there's got to be a way to get the message out there to ladies and say, hey, here's another option for you. You might like doing this. Why don't you try that? So I don't know what the answer is there, but I think the best thing that we can do as women riders is try and encourage other women.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's so something I've been asked recently, and you're definitely the person to ask with this. How do you navigate social media as a woman? Because I mean, it just, I will say the YouTube trolling and Instagram is just insane. I mean, as a guy, I get ridiculous comments from people that are just full of hatred. And I can imagine as a woman, it's like you're
right. I would say
it's just a sea of piranhas at that point.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, I haven't had too many problems. But with that being said, just in the last week and a half, I've had, probably 4 or 5 guys either DM me like, hey, baby, hey, baby, do you need a sugar daddy? Or in my comments, like they'll comment on one of my pictures on Instagram. Here's your sugar daddy. Here's your allowance for the week. I'm like, block, delete, bye-bye. Don't pull that shit. Please don't pull that shit. That's the fastest way to get blocked. And you know how like, I was telling the guys about this, but you know how like on Instagram, if you're not following somebody and they DM you, you have to accept it to respond back to them. Well, this person, if he watches your thing, he's going to know who I'm talking about. But this person,
go on. Let's just out him right here.
Well, I don't really know. I don't remember what his name was, but this person messaged me on Instagram. Yeah, you know who you are. Messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, just wanted to let you know I love the podcast. So, of course, I accepted it because he was talking about the podcast. So it's the
fake opening.
And I'm like, great, I'm glad you're enjoying it. And then it was like, well, I'd really like to chat with you sometime and get to know you. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Don't do that shit. Just don't do it.
That's
period.
Yeah.
So how do I navigate? When you're a dick, block, delete, bye-bye. That's how I navigate it. I don't put up with it.
And it's a shame. I mean, I know a lot of people that have started out on YouTube that have great content, and it just seems like that's all they're battling with, or it's because you're a woman rider, they assume that you don't know what you're doing, which most of the women riders I know could thrash most of the guys that I know that ride. So
I know several women riders that are freaking amazing. So yeah. And I would say on YouTube, I mean, of course, everybody gets the thumbs down. You know, you've made it when you get thumbs down on every video. Of course, there's those one or two people that give me a thumbs down on every YouTube video. And that's fine. If you don't like my stuff, first of all, you don't have to watch it, you know? So are you hurting me with that thumbs down? Absolutely not. I could give two craps about it. So, but every now and then I'll have the occasional comment on YouTube that's, you know, just flat out rude, and I'll delete it. So
I think it's really funny that the amount of positive responses you get are nowhere near the trolls. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I will have to say, especially on the new series that just came out, that very first video, so many positive comments. And I'm still a small channel, which is fine with me. I don't mind that at all. But I've always been huge about answering every single comment. I feel like if I don't answer every comment, that I'm just not doing my job.
Well, and that's something that I've heard you talk about before. And I think that that's really important, that if you want to interact, if you want to actively be part of this community, then I almost think it's your responsibility. You know what I mean? I feel the same way. Somebody took the time out to, whether it was 30 seconds of my video or 20 minutes, you took the time to watch out.
Absolutely.
And I know Ryan speaks to that. Ryan has said that you were really big. And even before you joined those guys, that's something you've always been positive. And I think that that's important.
Yeah, I think like you said, if they take the time to watch my video and leave me a comment, I'm going to take the time to respond. So I hope, you know, I don't know if I'll ever become a big channel, but I hope if it does grow that I'll still be able to keep up with comments and I don't want to get to the point where I don't have time to respond to people.
Mm-hmm. Because I think
that would hurt my heart.
Well, yeah, because then it's no longer your branding. It's you've branched out. Yeah. I do find it amazing. And I don't know if it's the environment that we're in, but the amount of negativity you can draw out of people versus the positive.
Yeah.
You know, if you mention anything about Harley in any sort of negative, you can almost just guarantee the viewership. It just comes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Harley's always a big debate though. I mean, it just is, you know.
The comments that people made on the gas video that I did were just, and you of all people, and thank you, like you came to my defense, and it was like, you know, nobody realizes it's a joke. Nobody watched till the end where Katie's laughing.
That was awesome. Yeah. She was giving you tips, do this, and I'm like, oh gosh, get it, girl.
It's just so funny.
It's funny. Love that video.
I think it's amazing that people don't look beyond things. You know, they take it so seriously.
Oh my gosh. Don't get butthurt over it. Just,
Yeah. You know,
take it with a grain of salt.
People are like, oh, I hope next time you light yourself on fire. Okay. That would have been a cool video. I mean, you know, could have got lots of viewership. So I guess now it's time to talk about, you are the rose between I would say four thorns, right? You are the only thing that holds that podcast up. I'm totally joking because I don't want the big one showing up at my house.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So talk about this. So you're a member of the Five Dirty Bikers. You've been there for what, about a year?
A year, yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have really taken off.
We have, yes. So I love those guys. They are so amazing. So how I got into that was last December. Tony called me up and said, hey, can you be a guest on Five Dirty Bikers? And I said, oh, I would love to. Absolutely. He said, well, we're having Dirty D's on as well. And of course, if y'all don't know who Dirty D's is, you're living under a rock, especially if you're in the moto
He's the president of Harley Davidson at one point.
Yeah. So, I call him the king of MVC, and people call me the queen of MVC. But anyway, my friend Tom was on as well, and we were guests. I think it was the first week in December of last year. And at that time, I guess their fifth member, Joe, had stepped down and was no longer going to be part of the podcast. And so after that guest appearance, Tony contacted me and said, "Hey, would you mind filling in January for us?" And I said, "Sure, that's fine." And so I was under the impression that I was just going to fill in for the month of January. And so he said, "I'm going to add you to our group text." And I said, "Okay." And so I said, "Listen," I said, "no holds barred up in here. I know, y'all throw stuff back and forth at each other. And just because I'm a woman doesn't mean you have to hold back." And so I could tell in the beginning, Tony was very kind of not standoffish, but just kind of holding back. And so it was probably only 3 or 4 days into that group text back and forth. And of course, I was letting it fly, just whatever. And he called me up and said, "Do you have a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "Okay, the guys that I've talked, we want you full time. We want you for our fifth member, if you have time to do it. Now, I understand that you're busy. And and I said, "Shut up. Yes, I'll do it."
Oh, that's awesome.
I would love to. So January will be 1 year that I've been part of those guys. And they are without a doubt some of the best guys I have ever met. And I'm still to this day just humbled to be a part of that whole podcast. And it's so fun. It is just, every week I look forward to it.
I mean, you guys have really built a solid community about that.
Yeah, we have our own Discord, which is free for those of you that don't know.
How much does it cost? It's free.
It's free. And Bry here, as a matter of fact, is our greeter and our bouncer for that community. One of our biggest supporters, Bry. Thank you.
I like the greeter part better, but
it is what it is.
I think it's great that you guys have built that. It's really, I find it amazing. The misplaced motovlogger who joined your Discord, but I found him on YouTube. It's just amazing how you can meet people, and it still amazes me. And I don't know why it is, but if you have a bike, it's like being a kid. You got a bike, I got a bike. Let's go. It's not exactly. It breaks down all the social barriers. Yeah. Yeah. And it really doesn't matter that I find it so interesting. Like, I've met lawyers and that ride, like when I worked in Philly, that were riding these little Japanese scooters that probably cost like $80. They're not $80, but these little scooters. And all they want to talk to you about is riding. And then they casually mention, "Oh, but I'm a partner in this law firm." But they don't care. They don't care what their title is or what they do in life. They just want to talk about riding. Yeah, and I think
definitely
it's so
something
great.
That connects people very easily. So, yeah.
It amazes me. It's such a welcoming community. It's very intimidating in the beginning.
It is. I will say I'm not on Discord as much as I would like to be. I'm an Instagram junkie, so I'm always on Instagram. I'll pop in Discord every now and then and say hey to everybody. So I kind of feel bad that I'm not in Discord as much, but yeah, the moto community in general, from the time that I stepped into it in 2017, me, myself personally, I was overwhelmed at the support that came from other people and how welcoming people were. So from that point, I was like, I'm going to be just as welcoming to people coming in as people were to me when I came in. So I've always been just a stickler for that, and trying to connect people, which is how the hashtag started, because Tom Dirty D's, of course, had the hashtag support and had told me about it. And I'd gone over to YouTube. And of course, when you type in hashtag support, you get a variance of everything, all kinds of stuff. And I wasn't seeing anything that was motorcycle related or motovlogging related. And even on Instagram, I looked it up and I was like, what? I can't find anybody motorcycle related here. So that's when I went to Tom and said, hey, what do you think of us adding hashtag support MVC, add MVC to the back of it for motovlogging community? And I think that would draw more people and connect more people. And that was the whole premise behind it, was connecting people with the same interest in motovlogging. And you don't even have to be a motovlogger. You can just be in the motorcycle community itself. But just watching that grow over the last 3 years has just blown my mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's hundreds, if not 1,000 or more people in there probably now. So
I think it's interesting too, that there's not a lot of, as much as I guess there is competition in YouTube, mm-hmm. very few people aren't willing to share what they do or how they do it. Absolutely. You can just about ask anybody in the motovlogging community, hey, how to get started? What microphone do you use? What camera are you using? What editing software are you using? Can you help me with this? And I think you can ask just about anybody. And if they don't know the answer, they'll point you to somebody that does. So, yeah, see, and I didn't even realize that you guys started that hashtag. That's awesome. I know the hashtag, but I didn't realize. That's great.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
I think it's just great that the community, you being a part of that, like with Discord, that it's really opened up a conversation for a lot of people that, like myself, I don't know anybody. I don't ride with anybody in my community other than recently.
Right.
From finding somebody from YouTube. And it's interesting that community has opened up and been that supportive.
Right. Yeah, it is. And I mean, I know it has its other side too. There's been some instances where people have, I guess, kind of had a negative impact to a certain extent, but I would say for the most part, it's a really positive community with people that are so willing to help. And, it's some people confuse the support part of that with, it's like a sub for sub thing. No, that's not what it's about at all. And that's never been the premise behind supporting each other. It's not, you don't have to follow that person on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, but it's just being a part of a community where if somebody needs something, whether it's advice or help or, like I said, with motovlogging or whatever, you put it out there and somebody's going to answer you. I guarantee you.
Yeah. And the sub for sub thing, I never quite understood because you may have subbed to their channel, but you're never going to watch it. But they're never going to watch your channel. So it really doesn't. That hurts. Sub
for sub hurts instead of helps. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And who has time to watch everybody's videos? I mean, I don't get offended when people don't have time to watch mine because there's so many of us out there. It's impossible.
Well, I think now too, I mean, even just, my channel's small, but with COVID, it seemed like in the beginning, everything was rocking. And then you can sort of see that gradual decline of where people are just kind of fed up with YouTube and, it's that season and, you can't rely on that.
Yeah. And with them changing rules every other day, just about, people get aggravated with that too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this has always just been a hobby for me. So, I mean, whatever my YouTube videos do, they do.
Well, and that's, I think, the best piece of advice that someone ever gave me is the minute you start taking it like a job, it better be. Because it's somewhere you want to treat it like a business and you want to have a branding. But the other week with everything going on, I missed like 2 weeks. And part of me was like, oh, I missed 2 weeks. And then the other part of me was like, wow, this was kind of nice not to, because I'm doing it full time at work. So it's kind of nice to have that break. Yeah.
If you're doing it to gain people so that you can make a profit off of it, then by all means go for it, work for it if that's what you want. But that's never been what it's about for me. So I'm kind of laid back and just like, I'll get a video out when I get one out. But
well, you recently broke 1,000 subs. When was that? Because honestly, I didn't realize you did until recently.
You would ask me that, and I do have that written down at my desk, but I don't know.
You don't have it on a giant plaque or anything?
I don't have it on a plaque, but I do have from the minute that I started my Instagram and my YouTube. I have my numbers date by date. So, I track all of that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, did you find that there was a moment that really pushed your channel? Do you think that there was like one defining thing that put you on the map? Because everyone seems to think that there's this, it's sort of getting that one big hit, if you will.
No, not really. I'll say my first 100 came very quickly. Within 3 weeks, I had 100 subs, and I was just excited about that. But I mean, it took me a while to get to 500 and then kind of climb my way up to 1,000. But I'll say they were all earned, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that's the right terminology to use, but no, I never had that big moment where just tons and tons of people.
Yeah. No, I guess I was wondering if there was something that you felt got you momentum, or if you got into a groove.
No,
because I know everyone says, oh, you need to post weekly, or you need to post, only certain times. And
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there is obviously an algorithm and a method to it. You can ask Jess Her Two Wheels, for instance, because that's one of the things. Obviously, she's an awesome individual, but that's one of the things that she talked about one time is she researched that and when to post and how often to post and what the algorithms were. But there is a method to it. If you want to grow it, I mean, you'd have to do some research and really work at it. But
yeah,
for me, I just always posted when I wanted to post. And in the beginning, of course, yes, I tried to post weekly and did for probably the first year, had a video a week. But yeah, it's just up to you as an individual. Exactly. And I've seen many a motovlogger get burned out on trying to keep up that pace.
There was even me and Nate play Pokemon Go, and there were a lot of YouTubers that came out when that started, and they were putting out daily videos, and a lot of them either wound up having like mental health issues because they couldn't deal with the stress of what was a hobby that became a business overnight.
Right.
It's amazing. But to your point, yeah, I mean, Jess really markets that as it's almost like it's a company, and that's a full-time gig. I give people a lot of credit that can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too. I'm not that person though. I'm not the person that's doing it for monetary gain or to treat it as a business. It's literally just a hobby.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it fun, right? They say the minute it becomes work, it better be work. Yeah,
exactly. When it's not fun, I always said when it's not fun anymore, I'm not doing it. So.
Yeah, I always joke that with doing video for work, I was always like, remember when this was a good idea? When we all sat around going, this is a great idea. And some days you're just like, no way.
Yeah.
So for the folks that don't know, we kind of sidebarred it, but
yeah, we did. Sorry.
No. This is a great conversation. So Five Dirty Bikers, you have the weekly podcast and you have MMM coming up at some point. God help us, it better be soon.
Amen.
I got to tell you, I've never been, I won't say I was crushed, but it was just so looking forward to just, that every day it was the conversation about, well, where are we stopping? What gear are we buying? We spent from February on just buying gear. And so talk about what that's going to be when that happens.
Okay. So yes, we do record weekly. We record every Wednesday night, unless there's a conflict with somebody's schedule, and then we'll record a different night. And then our podcast comes out on the weekend for our Patreon members. And then it releases to the general public every Monday. We have not missed a week this entire year.
Wow.
So yes, we've killed it this year. But let's see, MMM. So we were supposed to have that in Louisville in September, and we literally started at the beginning of the year planning and of course getting sponsors, and we have some amazing sponsors. And of course we were all looking forward to it. And then COVID. Yeah. And we thought we were past it during the summer, and we were like, yes, MMM is still on. And it was literally 3 or 4 weeks before it hit, when the governor of Kentucky said, no more no groups of 50 or more. And so we were like, well, technically we can still have it because we have about 50 people. And then the following week he cut it back to no groups of 10 or more.
Yeah.
And so that's when we knew. We were like, oh, it's done. We've got to call it. And so, yeah, we called it. We had our virtual MMM online, which I thought went really well. And we gave out some prizes for that. But of course, we are all looking forward to next year. Not that COVID is ever going away. Of course, it's just part of life now that we have to deal with and learn to adjust with anything. But yeah, we're in the works of planning a date right now. So,
and I mean, you had
still have all of our sponsor stuff. That's
what I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, you had some big name companies that came on board for that.
We do. Yeah. White Castle being one of the big ones. So
that's awesome. So to that, now this will come out Sunday. So people still have time to enter the big contest, right?
Yes. So we do. We have
which I'm totally going to win. I want to win.
Yeah.
I want to win.
We have a $500 gift card from Custom Dynamics.
That's 500.
500. So yeah, he was on, and one of his assistants, I guess, they were on our podcast last week before. And at the end, he was like, let's go ahead and do a giveaway. Let's give you a $500 gift card. We were all like, boom. Okay. So yeah, you have until, Bry, why'd you do this to me?
Sorry.
I have to look it up now.
Please pause.
Hold that thought. Please pause one moment.
Let's see. Where are we?
Can you play some background music really quick?
Now the queen of social media is going to try social media. Let's see how this goes for her.
Okay, so here we go. Custom Dynamics give away.
How much is it? $500.
$500. Okay, so the deadline to enter is December the 16th. And then the winner will be announced on our podcast December the 21st, just in time for Christmas.
And if you're not familiar with Custom Dynamics, I mean, by far, that's the only lights I run on my bike. They're a fantastic company.
Yeah.
Their story's
great.
Go
to our Instagram page.
Absolutely.
Yep. Go to the 5 Dirty Bikers Instagram page to enter.
And you'll have no problem spending that $500 at all. Nope. There's so much good stuff.
Not at all. So
awesome. So as I guess we wrap this up, this is all you. So anybody you want to give a shout out to, anything you want to talk about?
Well, of course, the moto community. Thank you all for the years of support, and I hope to continue to give back to that community, of course. And then, of course, my 5 Dirty Bikers guys, Tony and Dustin and Ryan and Mike. I love you guys. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for letting me be a part of that, because that's my world. I love my 5 Dirty Bikers guys.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And we're going to put the links to all your social media on the bottom here, and we'll put it in the thing. We're going to put a link to 5 Dirty Bikers. You have Discord, and then podcast is what? All social media, right? Or all streaming.
You can go to www.5dirtybikers.com, and it has everything listed there. We have merch now, of course. There's a link to our Discord there. There's a link to all of our social media stuff there. So you can find each and every one of us there. Yep.
The Discord is absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's just some great folks on there. So that's awesome.
I know you're huge in our Discord, Bry. Thank you for that. Thank you for being a huge supporter of us and being our greeter. And
thank you for creating that community. Because like I said, it's so hard to find people that, you can pick their brain. I mean, there's just so many people, whether it's you have a question about being a creator, or you have a question about accessories, or just whatever. Now the mental health stuff, there's just it's been a huge way to see people connect. Yeah. And it's really kind of cool, like with Gorilla and other people that I've met, that you just organically become friends, and you have people that you can share that experience with. So I think it's a definite close knit community. I will say I pop in there and
look at your conversations, not just yours, but, you know, the conversations in the different channels within Discord and see people interacting and so forth. And, you know, I want to thank you for the whole mental health side of it, because I know you're big in that channel on there and doing some good works there. So,
and I really appreciate that you've given it a platform. You know, it's not, it's unfortunately a very uncomfortable conversation for people, but I think that if you can help one or two people as a start, you know, it's worth it. So
absolutely. I think it helps people just to know that they're not the only ones out there, you know, and that's what people don't understand. I mean, even the most positive people still have things going on in their lives. Everybody has something, you know, nobody's perfect.
And I think that that's important. And I also think that it's important to realize that, especially nowadays with everything that's going on, you know, we're all going through that shared experience, and there's your weakness can become your strength. It's just really how much work you're willing to put into it. You know, every journey starts with that single step, you know.
You're absolutely correct.
Sometimes it's off a cliff, but you figure it out.
You have to keep pressing forward. That's, you know, no matter what you're going through, don't give up, you know.
I think that's
pressing forward.
That's the best part about following along with your journey series, is you can see that, you know, and you can see how far, you know, that you've come and what that is. And it's going to be great for your kids to look back, your grandkids, everyone, you know, it's something it's a historical piece of your life.
It's been an interesting experience, to say the least. And it was a lot of hard work for 8 months, but it was worth it. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to follow along on that. And if you're not following Gear Driven, please do so. Thumbs up, smash the bell, ring the bell, whatever you're supposed to do. Punch the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. But please make sure you're following Raven on social media, as well as the 530 Bikers crew. I know that's a big part of your life, and it's great. And I'm going to put all the links in the description. So thank you for taking the time out. I know it's your Friday, and I know it's
thank you for having me.
Day. Well, you're absolutely welcome. I
appreciate it.
And I know it's been, I appreciate it because, like I said, I've been through that. And I know sometimes it's hard to want to do other things while you're going through that experience. But I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah. Thanks, Bry.
So all I can say is, till the next episode of Behind the Rider, we're going to have a lot more creators on there and people in the motorcycle community. So stay positive, stay healthy, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.